Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Randy Marion Subaru, and they have the latest generation for the Ford Mustang. This is the GT Premium Fastback California Special. So huge shout out to them for providing this muscle car for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. The Mustang that you see behind me is finished off in shadow black with a list price just over $48,000. And to start off today's review, let's take a look at what powers this GT Mustang. Underneath the hood is the 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. This model is paired to the 6-speed manual transmission. It pumps out 450 horsepower around 7,500 RPM and 420 pound-feet of torque around 4,600 RPM. That power is sent to the rear wheels. This weighs in right around 3,800 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. It'll do the quarter mile in 12.2 seconds, up to its top speed of 155 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 16 gallons. You can expect the fuel economy to be 15 miles per gallon in the city and 24 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 107.1 inches. Its overall length is 188.5. It has a width of 75.4 and a height of 54.3 inches. And as we move on to the exterior styling for this Ford Mustang, let's start off with the grille because it has a very narrow and wide appearance, filling in the space between both of the headlights very nicely. There's plenty of cutouts in this grille to provide a lot of cooling to that 5-liter V8, as well as having the Pony badge and the 3 colors over on that driver's side. This even has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, and the DRLs have a really unique shape on the inner side of the housing. Turn signals are mounted down in the lower section, so there's some bodywork separating the housings. Even more cutouts in the lower section of the bumper. There's some trim pieces on both sides underneath the fog lights, and the front splitter is very large for this GT Premium. Gives it a really nice contoured look, very aggressive front end for the new design for the Mustang. I really like that. The hood has some great lines running down it as well, and it even has functional trim pieces on both sides with even more lines flowing back towards the windshield just to blend it in nicely. And then as we move on to the side profile now, this GT has a really nice set of 19-inch wheels. They have a 2-tone design along with the 5 split spoke design. Now this model has these standard brakes with 4 pistons up front, single pistons in the rear. The front calipers are actually the same as the Brembos. They just don't have the Brembo logo on them. Interesting to see. The front rotors measure in at 14 inches and 13 inches in the rear. Just behind that tire is the GT/California Special logo with that trim piece going all the way back to another trim piece just behind the door handles. The side mirrors are body colored. This model does not have a sunroof, but there's some really nice lines running in the middle along with the shark fin antenna. All of the window trim is blacked out. There's more black trim in the lower side skirt, just matching the front end very nicely. And we have that coupe-like design with some large fender flares for the rear tire. So there's a great line running just behind the door handle, extending all the way, wrapping around the spoiler in the back. And for the rear end of this Mustang, the GT badge is front and center with a backup camera just placed up above it. The California Special badge is on that passenger side. And this has LED taillights with the sequential turn signal. Iconic for the Mustang, gives it a great look. All of the parking sensors are down in the lower section, along with some more trim pieces. The reverse light is down in the middle. And this has the quad tip dual exhaust, which will start up here very soon. So with the exterior wrapped up, let's move on to the rear trunk space. So I can double tap the button on the key fob twice, or use the button that's mounted just above the license plate. So you can push on that, which makes it really convenient. And the trunk lid is very lightweight, so it's easy to open up. There is a lot of space in the back of this two-door vehicle with some cutouts on the driver's side and the passenger side to place in larger items sideways if needed. The back seats also fold down. They have a 50-50 split to them, so it doesn't matter if you just need one or both of them down. Gives you a lot more interior storage for this two-door vehicle. There's even some storage space up underneath the floor where you could potentially mount a spare tire if needed. There's also a battery jumper, so you can place some items up underneath, which is nice to see. There's no grab handle, but you can grab this lip and easily close that up. This also has the trunk mounted wing, which just gives it a really nice sporty look. And now we can move on to the interior. You can lock and unlock this using the door handle, obviously. And the door panel has a great design to it. There's some Alcantara with red stitching on the insert on the back. Really nice trim piece on the grab handle as well as the release handle. Lock and unlock as well as the side mirror adjustments and the window controls. And there's a little bit of storage space in the lower section. Mustang is also spelled out on the door sill, and this is an illuminating badge. It's hard to see during the day. Really cool to see that. And then let's make our way to the back seats now. If I pull on this tab, the backrest will move forwards, giving me a little bit more room to hop into the back. And at 5'10", I do have some room for my legs. Now on the passenger side with the seat all the way back, obviously there's no leg room, but you could make these work if needed. Obviously my head is up against the headliner. You're not buying this for a full 4-seater. In a pinch, if I had to be back here around town, I could make it work and easily get to the next location. There's a good amount of visibility, very large rear glass, some windows on the side so you can at least see out. And these seats have a really nice design to them with the two-tone, some side bolstering support, which is great to see. And they sink down a good bit just to give you a little bit more headroom, as I already showed. And then there is a tab on both sides where we can fold these all the way down. And from this angle here, you can see just how much more room you have if you need to utilize it. There's also a pocket behind the passenger seat, so you can place items there if needed. And move on to the front seat where the GT/CS badge is on the upper section. Really nice leather seat with some suede running down the inserts. All of the red stitching, of course. And it's very easy to enter. We do have to step up and over the door sill, and it's a low car, so it is easy to get into. The steering wheel is completely covered in black leather and black stitching. There's some brush trim pieces on both sides with a lot of controls that we can go through. In order to do that, let's fire this up. So with my foot on the brake and the clutch, the red button is over on the right side. We can bring this to life. And coming back to the gauge cluster, on the left side is the tach and the engine temperature. On the right side is the miles per hour and the fuel gauge. And right in the middle is a small LCD screen where you can go through a lot more information using these buttons over on the right side. Just underneath that is Bluetooth and voice commands. But using these dials, currently it's showing the miles per hour. I can scroll down to the TPMS, look at all of these vitals from the engine oil pressure, the oil temperature, you can look at your voltage, the vacuum level. All of that is really nice to be able to see. There's trip and fuel along with the track app. So I can look at the brake performance, the line lock, the acceleration timer, all of that status just depending on what you like to have, as this is track focused, so it has some settings for that. There's the driver assistance. If I go into that, you can look at the pre-collision along with the cross traffic alert, lane keeping assist, the backup sensors, and some settings to go into just to configure this as you'd like to. Over on the left side is volume and tuning for the radio, as well as the cruise control adjustments. There's even more of that brush trim in the lower section. Over on the left side of the steering wheel is all the headlight adjustments, as well as the fog lights and some dimmer switches for those gauges. As we work our way to the middle, there are 3 air vents front and center, along with this really unique trim piece running all the way to the passenger side. And just underneath that is an 8-inch touchscreen system. On the lower section is all of the presets. So currently it's showing the audio. I can go into climate and further adjust all of that information. There's a shortcut to phone when you have that paired, along with some apps and different settings to go into to configure all of this as you'd like to. There's even valet mode. You can go into the general information. Not a whole lot of information to go through, but it provides you with everything that you need, including this split screen, so you can look at your music as well as your phone, even the compass as well. Underneath that are some more tuning and power buttons for the audio, as well as volume and tuning. There's nice dials on both sides. And then there's even physical buttons for all the climates. So if you're not in that upper section, there's power, volume, recirc, defrosters, even the temperature dials for driver and passenger. And this even has heated and ventilated seats. Really cool to see that option. Next to the engine start stop feature are some more toggles finished off in brushed aluminum. So there's the hazards as well as traction control. There's even some different modes for the steering input. So you can have normal, sport, and comfort, just depending on how you like to drive. And then there's a few different driving modes as well between normal, sport. There's a track setting as well, even drag strip. And then the last one is for snow or wet conditions. So it's nice to see that for this rear wheel drive vehicle. There's a little bit of storage as well as a 12 volt and a USB. And then working our way to the 6-speed manual. If I pull on the collar up underneath, go to the left and up, that is for reverse, where you'll see the backup camera as well as the guidelines. There's even a top-down view as well. So if you're getting close to an item, you can use that for a little bit better visibility. And then we have the short throw 6-speed manual, which will be fun to get out on the road. We have the manual parking brake on this left side, along with 2 cup holders. There's a little bit of storage right in the middle, along with a USB and another 12 volt. And then over on the passenger side, the glove box has an ample amount of room. This even has the Mustang California Special badge just above that. We'll take another look at this interior. Really nice leather seats with all the red stitching. And then up top are the dome lights. All right, so getting this Ford Mustang GT Premium out on the road. just a mild acceleration, and we are up to speed. This is a pretty cool trim level. Now, the California Special isn't anything really special. It's mainly just an appearance package. I'm not sure how many of these that they've made. I don't think I've ever seen this trim level, but it's nothing too crazy, too special. It just has all of the badges that you can see. I think maybe some of the red interior trim is going to be part of that, just to match all of the red accents. Now, right off the bat, I can tell that this has the rev matching on. I'm not sure if you can turn that on or not, or if that is standard, but it's really cool to see that there are quite a lot of options for this GT, where this is pretty much a track-ready vehicle. From line lock, you have the different exhaust notes that you can adjust to. I have everything in track at the moment. I'm gonna give it another acceleration here from first gear. I like how light the clutch pedal feels, and the short throw shifter is kind of notchy. It's easy to maneuver, but I like that feedback where you can quickly get it into that gear. You feel that notch, so that way you know you're in that next gear. But it's a really smooth shifter. I like the clutch pedal feel. It's an easy car to drive, and I can see why they're so popular, because this is, if you just want a two-door sports car, Mustang is a very popular option. It gives you all the interior room that you pretty much need. And I like that while the back seats are small, I could fit back there if I needed to. They're pretty functional for extra storage if you need to use it as well. And it's pretty cool that I didn't show this, but if you go into the gauge modes here and go into the settings menu, you can actually go to the exhaust note. There's even a quiet start. So let's say you live in a pretty close neighborhood and you don't want to be that guy. You can put it into the quiet startup. Once you leave, put it into track mode or whatever setting you want, and go from there. And for the turnaround on that narrow road, wasn't hard to go between reverse and first gear. So I like that aspect to it. I wouldn't say that it's crazy loud. I mean, Mustangs with a V8 can be loud depending on the exhaust that you put on it. As we switch over to the POV angle, you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel of this Ford Mustang GT Premium. Definitely a cool interior. I like all of the leather, all of the Alcantara as well. And as far as visibility goes, I can easily see over this left side. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a small window for your backseat passengers or just for better visibility. So it's pretty easy to see all around, and with that backup camera, obviously that helps. So from first gear, here we go. And just like that, we're up to speed, very light on the accelerator. Mustangs are pretty quick depending on the trim level that you go with, and with the horsepower in this model, this will definitely get up and move. So no questions about power. The 5-liter V8 is the engine choice to go with, mainly for that exhaust note and obviously for the power and the potential that you have for tuning, even supercharging if you want to. And as we merge out into traffic here, as we get behind a Mustang, up to speed just like that. But I hope you enjoyed today's review, checking out this Ford Mustang GT Premium Fastback with the California Special Edition package. Once again, huge shout out to Randy Marion Subaru for providing this model for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.